Welcome back, guys, to Factorio Towns Season 3 with me, Massive Dynamic. We're going to start out here today. We're going to add in our Purple Science Town, and we're going to place it, our intersection right here, and we are located right here on the western side of the map, just north of our town that we built in the last episode, which is where we built our rails. You can see it right there in the southern part of the view there. But we're going to build our new town called Periwinkle right over here, sort of on the coastline there, near the ruins that you can see just to the left there. So yeah, right about here is where we're going to place our town. So we're going to have to get started with doing some trimming once again of some trees. So we're going to jump in our vehicle here in a second, our flame tank, and we're going to take off right after the intro. So we get everything set up in the tank, all of our flame ammo and everything that we might need to start burning the trees down. And we got some missiles on board because there is a small biter town just to the south of where we are right now. So we're gonna take off in our flame tank and get all this work done here real quick. Yeah, it's not quick. It takes about altogether it's probably about 45 minutes, believe it or not, to drive back and forth through here and get rid of all these trees. And along the way we have a couple of surprises and a little bit of excitement, but we'll show that here just real shortly. But as it is right now, we're just doing turbo speed back and forth with the flame tank and getting rid of these trees. And we picked up a few lasers there that were in the ruin that was located right there. So yeah, we come back over here and set up our laser tanks. We're going to grab our transport vehicle because we've got all of our stuff, all our extra vehicles stored in our transport vehicle. And so yeah, we set up a couple of laser tanks, and at this moment we're setting up a path there because we want to set the laser tanks on patrol just in case the biters get a little feisty as we're clearing trees over there, and we don't want that to happen. So we get them started on the path, and of course they fight over who's going to go first. Yeah, that you have to send one on the path at a time, apparently, because every time I send more than one on the same path, they can't figure out where they're going and they just crash into each other, which is strange because they don't seem to have collision when they're in. Yeah, and then that one just decides to shoot me for some reason. I don't know why. I didn't know that the laser tanks were so aggressive toward the player. But yeah, that one just nailed me. And so I come back on the train. And actually, I figured out while I was riding back on the train that there's some biters, which you can see down there just south of my position. And they are trying to make their way towards me. So then I decided, well, they're going to have to be dealt with. And I have to be careful because I don't know how crazy the laser tanks are going to be. Even though there's nobody in them, they seem to be homicidal towards me. And I am not exactly sure why that is. I think that's the only, so far, the only friendly vehicle that's ever murdered me. But so I'm a little bit leery about taking the laser tank out there. I don't know if they're going to kill each other or kill me or what their plan is. It's kind of like Terminator going on here a little bit, I think. Terminator tanks. So yeah, as you can see, they don't shoot at the biters when I'm driving. I guess I could have hit the button, and then I can't figure out which way is forward and which way is backwards when I get in the other one. I thought that it was facing forward, but apparently it was facing backwards. So yeah, now I'm trying to position the laser tanks in a way that they won't kill anybody except for the biters. But once I get out of them, then they go on anti-biter patrol mode. And they don't seem to shoot each other, fortunately. So yeah, then I finally decide, let's just take the flame tank down there and finish these guys off. So take a quick trip down there with with the flame tank and some rockets on board and take care of that. And finally, that's all under control. And now we can set the laser tanks back on their patrol route. So as long as I set one at a time, they shouldn't crash into each other. And I jump in this one for a second. Yeah, there we go. So now they're on patrol. And I'm just worried about those biters that I showed earlier that are just north of our path, far to the west. So then we can start laying down our railroad blueprint so that we can make way for our new town. So we get that all laid out. We have to figure out where our intersection is going to go and how we're going to do our town entrance. So we run all this track. Get all that spotted or kind of laid out for future expansion. Some of it's for future expansion, some of it's for our immediate need. And you can see the laser tanks taking a crazy path there. And it looks like the biters have carved a path out of their location there. You can see two paths moving from the biters town to the south. I assume that they were attacking the laser tanks. Either that or the laser tanks were shooting at them. I don't know which one for sure. I didn't see it. So I decided to just run up in there with the flame tank and just negotiate peace on my own in the only way that I know how in Factorio, and that is by virtue of mass extinction. And yeah, there's some cliffs in there, of course. Regretting turning on cliffs in this playthrough because it's not like the trees were bad enough already. We had to add cliffs to it too, and it's just like constant. You can't see anything because of the trees, and you can't see the cliffs because they're hiding in the trees, and the trees are just everywhere, and the cliffs are in the way constantly. So yeah, there's all that, but it's all okay. It's all just part of it. So we make our way into our town location, and we're able to clear all the trees and rocks and things out of our way. And as usual, go around a little bit and just try to make sure we have plenty of room for the work that we have to do. There's a lot of rocks in here, so we grab all these rocks to make sure that there's nothing impeding our progress once we actually get started building our town. So there we have all that. And while we're over here, we just make sure that we get all the rocks and stuff out of the way. And get the robots to working at setting up the railroad track. And then one more pass with the flame tank just to make sure we have enough room to get in and out of there. Later on, once we get the town built, we don't want to have to come back in here and clear more trees because we don't have enough room for our service vehicles to get in and out and stuff like that. So we clear all that. That should be plenty of room now. I think we're pretty happy with what we've got here as far as room for our town goes. We've got our Factorio buildings that we can set up. So now we just go ahead and set up connecting the power and the railroad track to the main line so that we can start bringing trains in and have power so that we can make sure that our town is going to work properly, fully powered. Our radar should be turned on and all that kind of stuff. So it just takes a minute to run back. And by a minute, I mean like probably 10 minutes to run back there, get all that connected, get our vehicle, get all the power lines in, make all the connections, make sure the radar's working, all that kind of stuff. And we run just a little farther than we need to just to make sure that we're ready for the next time. Throw our backpack down, which we did a minute ago, but that's fine. And just double check that we're clear and that our track is in. We'll help the robots get the last bit of railroad track down. And yeah, finish everything up here. We get our stacker in, get our stations in, and we're ready. And then all of a sudden, while we're working, I heard that whoop again. So it looks like there might be another Bigfoot over there on that island to the west. I assume it's a different Bigfoot. I don't know if it's stranded over there on an island or if they swim. I don't know how that works for the Bigfoots, but apparently there's another one there. So all these trees apparently are providing a great home for the Bigfoots on Novice, and apparently Novice has a pretty large population of Bigfoots. So yeah, we spotted another one. I think I saw that one that time. I think that was the first time I actually saw one. But they are very elusive, and he was hiding in the trees there. But anyway, we get all the track in. We get our basic town layout situated so that we can throw down our new factory building, which is where we're going to do our conversion. That is making our purple science. So we set that up. And then we can start laying our belts in and getting our trains in and all that stuff, get our supplies in so that we can start building the science packs. So as usual, we figure out how we're going to get materials in and out and how we're going to set up our build. So we just go with something fairly simple. For the purple science, we only need to build the purple science here because we have everything else being built elsewhere. So all we're going to do is bring in 2 belts of materials. That's our electric furnaces, our productivity modules, and our railroad track. So I guess it's called rail. I keep saying railroad track, but you guys know what I mean. It is railroad track, but we call it rail in Factorio. So we get that set up and the output set up in the usual way. Nothing too fancy here, just the usual stuff. And we get everything built. We do it in pairs, why not? And run our export line out so that we can hook it up to our train. And I don't know why I crossed all the way over there with that, but for whatever reason, that's what I did, and looped it all the way back around. I guess I'm planning to expand at some point and adding beacons to the build, and I just want to make way for all that stuff. I guess that was my plan. That's what I'm going to say for now. Anyway, you can choose to believe me or not, and we'll see as time goes by whether or not that is what happens. But so next thing we do is get our train stations set up so that we can do our loading and unloading. And once we get those positioned, we can make all those connections. Just in the usual way, nothing new or different here. We just add all of our connections, and then yeah, while we're over here, we hear that whoop again. And looking, I don't see the Bigfoot anywhere. I thought he was on the island, but I didn't see him this time. It sounded like it was coming from the island, but it's really hard to tell because we don't really have dynamic sound effects in Factorio. They're just kind of universal, so it's hard to be directional about it. But that's where I saw him before, so I figured he was still over there. But anyway, once we get all that figured out and get ourselves undistracted, is that a word? Recover from being distracted? I don't know what the word is. But anyway, once we did that, we realized that we didn't have our electric furnaces made yet. So we're going to have to come back in the next episode and start building electric furnaces. But thanks so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Hopefully you'll be here in the next episode. Bye-bye.